Oh, g'day there and welcome back to the Mad Monday podcast, brought to you by 420 Pies, the perfect at-home snack for watching the Warriors take another incomprehensible victory off a top four team. My name is Tino Fa'asua Manaiawi. I'm joined by Mario Marshall Keyzie himself, Chris Key. G'day, Chris. How are you getting on?
G'day. I'm glad you didn't call me Adam Whanua Keyzie. I thought about this last night and I'm dropping that name.
Oh, you're standing that name down.
For the first time in history, he's let me down. You know what I mean? So I think I will be sticking with Jeremy Marshall Keyzie going forward. Got a lot of respect for him.
So you're standing that nickname down for conduct unbecoming of a Warrior.
That's right. And I think that move will send shockwaves through the NRL community. And Adam Whanua Blake might even find out about it and maybe think twice about packing a sad next time.
Wayne Bennett may even commend you for the bravery you've shown in the first 2 minutes of this podcast.
Well, if he wants to, then that's on him.
The Warriors took down the Dolphins just yesterday at the time of recording this, 24-20. I got to say, off the top, Chris, this felt the same as it did last week, where we watched the game the entire time and then the hooter went and you're like, fuck, did we win that?
Absolutely, because just like last week, somehow at Magic Round last week, we had this team that was fielded and it was just like, yeah, cool, we're going to take on the Penrith Panthers with this team, righto,
yeah.
We get the win. Somehow this week we one-upped that by having Adam Whanua Blake out, Chance Nickel-Keyzie out, Tane Tuipiki, like we just really cranked things up a level, took on the number 4 place Dolphins, and despite them scoring quite quickly, a sucker in the corner, I was like, oh, God.
Straight off the bat, we had the same start that we had last week.
What's up with that? We keep doing that.
Our starts suck.
But we seem to go behind the goalposts there, have a bit of a breather, and kick into gear.
Yeah.
So
It's something to do with the way this team's set up. And I actually think that in a strange way, a lot of the outs have actually helped them. And I was just watching the interview before with Mitch Barnett, who we'll talk about later on in the podcast a bit more. He said basically it's the New South Wales Cup guys that are actually setting the tone for the rest of the team, because every time one of them comes in, obviously they got to pull their heads in a little bit. They're dealing with the big dogs. So he said they've all been really professional, and it's actually reminded a few of the guys like, oh, fuck, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Let's just, knuckle down. And I think that's a symptom of why every time we have a new guy come into the team, Jacob Laban, Zimo, all these guys, every single time when we're commentating, we're like, shit, this guy's been good.
Like, for the first time, I can't remember a season where we have all these debuts or guys who have maybe played like one game, like Roach last weekend, that come in and you don't notice, the team doesn't drop at all. In fact, they add to it. I can't remember the last time this was happening.
I know, and for the longest time, we always said, well, we don't have any sort of feeder league sort of situation going on here in New Zealand. And I've always wondered, like, what does it actually mean? Like, does that matter? All of our best players get poached anyway. Well, this is what that means.
Exactly.
It means that when Tane Tuipiki's wife goes into labour on Sunday afternoon, then all of a sudden we can have a reshuffle, bring guys back in, and Chance came down with some sort of illness.
Moala Graham Taufa.
Yeah.
Never heard of the bloke.
No, neither.
Shit, he played well.
He played very well. Yeah, great kick chase as well.
Oh, yeah.
Just before one of the kicks.
Screaming at him?
Someone's screaming at him. Kick chase! And so I just love that's added a little bit of fire, a little bit of oomph into this team. And I said on the Agenda podcast this morning, available where all good podcasts are sold, that it was, we dragged them down to our level because we were like, we've got such a hodgepodge team. This game's going to be messy. We dragged them down to our level. We beat them with experience for the second week in a row.
We did drag them down to our level because when you look at their back line with Cody and Isaiah Katoa in the halves there, who are both just playing so well, and then their centres, Averillo, Herbsley, Farnsling, Worthington the third.
He tore us to shreds.
He was a Hamu at the very start, and I was like, oh, here we go, Hamu Farnworth.
Yeah.
And then every time he got the ball, he just ran with such intent. He is a fantastic player, but we managed to shut him down in the second half. He was amazing in the first half, and then he was quiet.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
And the other thing that we shut down was the hammer.
The hammer, yes.
How many times have we seen a team get absolutely torn to shreds by the hammer?
Yeah,
and obviously
so fast.
That every team that goes out to play the Dolphins is like, hey, just don't let this guy get ahead of steam up.
And I mean, he did score one try, but that's pretty damn good.
And I think it was actually Herbie.
Yeah, he got in
Farnslington with the third.
That's right.
It got into space, and then it was just the hammer happened to be there in support.
Yeah.
But every time he got there, the ball, there were 3 jerseys on him. We did a good job of keeping it away from him when we kicked it. And I thought that, the shining lights for our team on the other side of things, Te Maire Martin, I thought was excellent. The only hole that I could pick in Te Maire Martin's game was twice I saw him get tackled on the 4th tackle, which meant he wasn't there to kick.
Which is silly, yes, exactly.
His kicking game, since he's been put into halfback, has been excellent.
It has been really good. A few of those, we talked about it last night on the commentary. One of them, he kicked to the right corner on our side, and Bostock had to leap from in the field of play and then landed in the end area, the goal line area. That is perfect.
Yeah, 3 repeat sets there.
Yeah.
And I actually thought towards the end of the game, when there was only about 3 or 4 minutes left to go, we had the lead, and he ended up taking the tackle on the 5th. Just
to slow it down.
Just to slow it down. I kind of thought, you know what, you've been going so good, just try and get another repeat set, because wouldn't that put the shits up the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Because he had been, and we've been lacking that all season. That's been the number one thing anyone's been complaining about. It's like we don't have great kicking options. Our 5th tackle options just haven't had any oomph.
No, and I remember a few seasons ago when Cody Nikorima was on our side, and it would get to our 5th, and then we'd just give it to him, and he'd just put sort of a nothing bomb up. That was not the case at all. And also CHT is really good at kicking too.
Yeah, left-footed as well, which helps.
Which is great. He's got a monster bomb on him. We need to unleash that more. And so what's been quite nice is our halves have changed last week we had Chans in there. Yeah. Our halves have changed so much that even with CHT randomly being dragged in at the last minute because, and then having him paired up with Te Maire Martin, who was out for a large portion of last season and stuff, despite that, they still worked really well together.
CHT has the same thing that Dylan Walker has, where it's like, does he have some sort of gravity generator in his chest? Because he must weigh about 70 kilos.
He looks small.
And yet he is bumping dudes off.
Oh, he flattered Nikorima.
Granted, it was Nikorima, but he still bumped him off.
I couldn't do it.
He puts hits on in defense. Obviously, like you said, his kicking game's immense, but he's not a very big dude. There's just something about him. It's like, how do you get more of him into the team?
Jazz is the same. He's tiny, but he just gets so much go forward.
Yeah.
So there's obviously some sort of secret thing that we're not privy to.
Mana, I think.
Mana, is that it?
I think it is.
Oh, I've never heard of it. I have to Google it. Just one note that you've written here, which was one of my main takeouts from this. Marata Mean, which is written on the note sheet here. Now, if he isn't somehow ruled, if the team list comes out tomorrow and it's like, oh, by the way, Marata's out, he's done his ankle or something. I want to be fuming. But if that isn't the case, and if he can stick around, he is the key to unlocking the right side. Because Di and I were talking about this last night. If you don't have that threatening, back rower running a great line there to ask questions of the defense, and Cape Wa is not that guy. He doesn't run hard, straight lines. And so the defense has to think about that, and then you can also pass out to the fullback and then out to the wing. You need to have that hard ball runner. Marata's the guy. I'm very excited about that.
Same. I agree with you. I know what you mean. I do wonder if he's better served in our team, like he was initially when we started the season. He's going to come off the bench because he is a fucking nightmare for dudes to deal with. Every time he latched onto a pass from dummy half, you were looking at him like, oh, fuck that.
So
you want imagine looking at him.
So you want him in the front row rotation, or what do you want?
In the middles, because we don't. I mean, we're already playing Mitch Barnett in there. We've got, knock on wood, I think AFB will be back and see out the season.
Well, if AFB's back, I quite like Mitch Barnett in the front row.
So do I.
So those two starting, then Bunty and Tom Ali off the bench.
I think Bunty and Marata off the bench.
But then
Jazz,
who are you going to have running that straight right side?
I just think Kurt Capewell. I know what you mean. We're lacking the punch there.
Yeah, we've signed Kurt Capewell, haven't we? So we're going to use him.
I just think he's how do you not have Kurt Capewell on your side? And this is the problem again. Rocco Berry, who had surgery apparently on his hand at the start of last week.
Did he?
With hoping that he would have been back for this game, which tells me he'll be back for the Cowboys after the bye. How do you fit him in? Because I still also feel like Adam Pompey has been excellent for our team.
Well, I'm be damned if I'm dropping Moala, Graham Taufa. All these guys keep coming in. I just want them to stick around. Laban was great once again, but it is going to be tricky. The thing I do like, though, is looking at the injury list. Obviously, we do have the bye this week, which is just oh, thank God, 2 wins into a bye, 3 wins. Thank you. A lot of our injuries are targeting round 14, so We will have Tohu back, hopefully, Wade Egan, Capewell, Johnson, and then also AFB might be back, hopefully. You never know, RTS could come back early-ish from a hammy. CNK are definitely back because he was just ill. We could all of a sudden have almost a full squad back.
Yeah. And I was talking to, I can't remember, a couple of people this morning who were like, oh, it's going to be a headache for Webby when all these guys are back. I don't think so.
No, it's not. He's the kind of coach that literally just goes back to his starting side.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
As soon as they come back, they're just going to slot back into their positions.
Yeah. And I think that, yes, these guys have done a great job of caretaking in these last couple of weeks. We've jagged a couple that we shouldn't have. We lost a couple at the start of the year that we
Isn't that so
have.
Warriors beat the Panthers and the Dolphins?
It is. But again, like I was saying again this morning on the Agenda podcast, I don't want to hear from anyone who said that they saw that coming. Get fucked, you did.
Fuck off. Yeah, exactly. Anyone saying that, just like, because a few people did say to me last week as well, you know,
this is a banana peel game for the Warriors.
Oh, this would be just like the Warriors if they win this one, eh?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's your hot take. And then boom, they did win it.
Yeah.
And it was just like the Warriors.
But it's like again, I said this morning, show us your fucking TAB account then. If you're walking around this week saying you think you saw that coming, I don't know. Te Maire Martin, one last point I wanted to make on him. He is excellent, and the reason why he seems to find so much space when he's running the ball, and it seems to make no sense at all, and me and Ben spied it early last game against the Panthers, he has a move that we've dubbed the Tinder Swindler.
Oh, wow, okay. That's a throwback to 3 years ago, by the way.
Shout out to him. I think he's still out there swindling. It is where he locks eyes with the defender.
Oh, yeah.
And infatuates them with his
does a little like kissy lips thing.
rugged good looks.
Little eyebrow raise.
It's like, what do you guys up to after this game? Do you want to come and hang out? And then the defender goes, I love you. I'll do anything for you. You want to run through this gap? Yeah, sweet. Because he got tackled twice on the way to his one try.
That try was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, and it made no sense. Like, this is exactly what I'm saying.
Katoa, I think it was, tackled him and then just like let go and completed the tackle.
Oh, sorry, bro.
And got back into position.
Sorry, man.
It hadn't been completed.
Did you not want me to tackle you?
It was the most bizarre. Like, Te Maire wasn't even trying to score a try, and he just found himself underneath the sticks.
And then all of a sudden he's standing up, and the Dolphins are just like, hey, we're still on for later.
Yeah, nice.
That is how Te Maire Martin, and I think that this is the best possible thing for him. Who knows when Luka Mikiafu is going to be back?
Well, when Luka Mikiafu comes back, I quite like the idea of him and Te Maire as the halves pairing. Like, obviously we want Sean.
Yes.
But now that we've seen what Te Maire can do, the idea of Sean not being in the squad doesn't terrify me anymore.
Yeah, right, I'm with you.
With him, with like an attacking 5'8", it's like the solid guy. He can manage sing and kick, and then Luka Mikiafu can just like run wild.
Yeah, I won't
freak out.
I just sort of think that when Sean comes back, and I think it will be round 14, Te Maire's been empowered and boldened a little bit. He's reminded himself of the player that he can be when he needs to. And I think that that's going to take a lot of pressure off Sean Johnson. So that's like less stuff for him to do. And I think that can only be a good thing for us.
What about a hot take that was thrown into the Mad Monday group by you that Chance will play 5'8" for the rest of the season or something, and RTS will go back to fullback?
No, centre. So when it was announced that Chance was going to be moved to centre.
Centre?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, before the game.
Oh, before this game, before he was sick?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
He was going to be playing centre.
Wow.
CHT was moved into 6.
Right.
When he woke up crook on the Sunday, and I said, Chance Nickel Clockstad is moving into centre, where he will remain for the rest of the 2024 season.
See, imagine.
Well, because I honestly think he has looked so good in any other position that you play him in. We put him in at number 6, and everyone's like, he might be the best number 6 we got. I think if we played him at centre, we would have done the exact same thing after this game. We were like, fuck, is he the best centre that we've got in our team? The only thing against Roger playing at fullback has been, Chance is our fullback. It's like, okay, but Chance could be our centre. Chance could be our 6.
So you're thinking Chance at left centre, Roger at fullback, or Tane Tuapiki?
Roger.
Tane, and then obviously once Roger's back.
Yeah, this is all when Roger's back. Yeah.
So you wouldn't have Roger on the wing and Tane at fullback?
No, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh, we're just having a discussion here, man. I'm just lobbing up.
Well, you would have a rookie over no disrespect to Tane Tuapiki, but a Dally M Player of the Year. I think New Zealand's only, or the Warriors only Dally M Player of the Year.
So I'll pencil you in for a no.
On Tane Tuapiki.
On that suggestion?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. And I know what you're thinking. What's your track record in thinking this kind of thing? I, at the start of this season, said that I thought that for the Rabbitohs, Jack Whiten should be playing number 6.
Why had no one tried that?
Months ago.
Like,
And now here we are.
Demetrio,
Jason Demetrio.
Jason Demetrio.
Kid doesn't get footy.
He gets dragged through the mud by the press the entire season.
Yeah.
Doesn't once try Jack Whiten at 5'8". Why?
I think it becomes an ego thing at that point.
Because
You're like, because it's a no-win for him. Because if he does it and it goes well, everyone says, yeah, well, we told you to do that ages ago. You're still a shit coach.
yeah, but if it goes well, they win a game and he doesn't get sacked.
I think he still does.
Yeah.
'Cause he did get sacked after a win. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I just think those things become a bit of an ego thing. Anyway, this is my hot take. I think I've cycled through thinking this, then not thinking this, then thinking this, then not thinking this. My father will hear this and call me and say, I told you this a year ago when they signed Roger, that by the end of the year, he will be their fullback.
Shout out to Wazza predicting it.
I've come around. I've come around to the dark side.
I don't want, I was so anti that theory.
Yeah.
Because
So was I.
this is the thing. I was anti that theory at the start of the season when we'd come off a brilliant 2023 season. And I was like, nah, Chan's the dude, man. We can't mess around with that right side. But the right side's not there anymore. It's not working.
Yeah.
So absolutely, let's mess around with it. Let's get the left side going.
And it's an easy swap. You just swap the positions. They both still start. No one loses their job. They both just swap, and then we go from there.
And you're probably going to pencil in a no for this. I always hear the phrase "given a license to roam," but no one ever gets it. Like when you've got a fullback playing at centre, or like someone like a Val Holmes, he should have a license to roam or something that's been like thrown around. Like he should be able to like get on the right side, get on the left side, and just really looking like as if he was playing fullback.
Yeah.
I've never seen any centres do that. Maybe that's something Roger could do.
Yeah. At fullback.
Yeah, obviously.
What's a bigger license to roam than just literally putting him at fullback?
Yeah, look, I don't want to upset Chances all, man.
No.
He seems like the kind of guy though that would be like all good.
This is my point. Is I've only come around to that after watching him play that game at 5'8".
And it's as a result of him being so good at playing those
That's
positions.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's your own fault, Chance.
Well, it's not even fault. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I think that is probably the best thing for the team, which, well, is the best thing for Chance. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
It also might. I mean, are you expecting Roger to run 250 metres a game and do heavy contact at his age now?
I know that he will.
No, I know, but that's a bad thing, right? Because we don't want to get him worn out.
As opposed to now when he is
He needs more
out for
touches.
10 weeks with a hamstring strain. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that ship has sailed. I'm like, fucking throw everything.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's just go all in.
You know what I mean? What
Yeah.
are you going to do? Like pretend, like try and not get him injured, and then he gets injured anyway,
Let's just do it. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like I said before, the bye week now, and then we're into the cows. I think this has been great. I've been saying since before Magic Round, any of the guys that are injured, have any kind of niggle, rest them. Don't play them if they have, like Tohu Harris. I'm hearing finger. They're officially listed as wrist. Don't know what's wrong with him.
Who knows?
Just take a breather.
How nice is it him having a breather though? Like
Yeah, that's exactly
Tohu's
right.
been forced to play 80. What is he, like a million years old now?
Yeah, 32. But yeah.
And so now, so I agree. I think if Tohu's got a niggle, have the game off.
Yes.
Sweet as.
Both of these last two games.
Which is great.
Which were scheduling losses anyway, and we've jagged them.
And we've jagged them somehow. Sean Johnson, don't rush back if your Achilles is still niggly. Have a month off, whatever, because we'll be sweet.
Well, he will have had 3 weeks off by the time he comes back. So,
But I don't want him to have to sit out games in the future because his Achilles is niggling him.
Yeah.
Like if there's something we could do to reduce that. I don't know.
I'm with you because we're doing okay. We're doing okay at the moment. Just before we move on from the Warriors game, though, we said that Mitch Barnett was absolutely outstanding.
He has been so solid.
He has been so solid that he's been rewarded with a blue jersey. He will be playing for the New South Wales Blues next week, which is absolutely incredible. He is the first Warrior to play for a state of origin
Whilst in a Warriors.
since.
My go-to is always Jacob Lillyman.
Close.
Who is it?
There's someone between Jacob Lillyman and Mitch Barnett. You're going to hate yourself.
Which, was it New South Wales or Queensland?
Queensland.
Shit. I already do hate
he was
myself.
the youngest Queensland representative player since, I believe, Ben Ikin. Had about
Reece
Nigel.
Walsh.
Reece Walsh.
Fuck's sake. I deleted him playing for the Warriors out of my brain.
I know. So
Damn
did
it.
I, because my first thing was Lillywhite as well, and then I was just like, oh, wait, that's right. No one could deserve it more from our team. I dare say if Wade Egan hadn't got his dome rocked so many times, he might have been in contention as well.
Absolutely.
All right, you know what? I've got a few takes on this. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back because I can't understand why he hasn't been named at least on the bench, if not starting Mitch Barnett. So we'll take a break. Then we're going to dive into the State of Origin teams. All right, just before we get into State of Origin, we have to address the stonker of the round. Broncos versus the Titans. Titans getting the dub 36-34, Chris.
So this game was on before the Warriors, which meant I missed the last 30 minutes of it because we were in here doing sound checks and stuff.
Yeah.
But from what we could hear out there, hell of a game. And the Titans are no longer easy beats, are they?
Oh, he's a working class man. No, I don't know. I wouldn't say they are not easy beats.
But they beat us.
Yes.
They beat the Knights.
Yeah.
They beat the Broncos.
They almost beat Manly a few weeks ago when Manly were humming.
They're on a streak.
They can score big points.
They're like a real confidence team. It's really weird. Like, if you score early on them, they'll get all down in the dumps. But if they can manage to jag some sort of attacking, like a try at all of a sudden they are like ready to go.
Yeah, and they've definitely jagged this one. It was actually a hell of a game. If you're going to rewatch one that's not the Warriors this week, it would be that one.
Also, shout out to one of my favourite players at the moment, Brian Kelly.
Oh, yep.
Who is having a great season.
Isn't he the breakfast announcer on Coast?
And he's Mark Kelly's dad, Mark, who produces the ACC sometimes. But he's also right centre for the Titans, and he is a bloody good player.
Yeah, they had a winger on debut as well.
He was fast.
You'll forgive me for Francis, and he basically blew his shoulder out in the first 5 minutes. Went on to make basically a game-saving tackle to knock the ball out of the Broncos' hands. Broncos just weren't quite firing. They fired a couple of long ranges, but in the end, they were outdone. That game was excellent. It was the stonker of the round. And if the Titans can put a few games together, they could be right there or thereabouts for top 8 contention.
Which is annoying because we need to put a few games together and be in contention.
Their hopes have been bolstered by a shock omission from the State of Origin teams, which
let's
is
get into
way
it.
more interesting to
Yes.
me. And that is the fact that David Fafita has not been named for the Maroons.
So, looking at the Maroons, we'll start with them. Pretty much as I could have guessed in terms of the back line. Reece Walsh fullback, Coates and Taulangi on the wings, Holmes and the Hammer in the centres, Cherry Evans and Dearden. How do you feel about Tom Dearden?
I don't really know. I mean, so this was Munster's jersey, and he slipped over in the shower at the start of the year, we're led to believe.
That's
injured his
apparently,
groin. I don't know. And then it was squirrely as to whether he'd come back or not.
Yeah.
Then he looked like he'd got his balls caught in an electric fence when he injured himself earlier last week. So now he's out. I got to be honest with you. This gets a bit squirrely when they name the teams because I actually don't know who's from Queensland and who's from New South Wales. But when I look at who's available in terms of 5'8s just broadly across the competition, there's not many better than Tom Dearden at the moment.
No, Tom, he's a great attacking 5'8 as well. And he's also so young and so solid defensively that I think he's kind of like that classic Queensland style player.
Yeah.
So I like the look of that. I'm not a Queensland fan, by the way. The interesting thing is they've just gone straight up Ben Hunt starting at hooker.
Yep.
Which I like. Harry Grant off the bench once people are tired. They've got Lindsay Collins and Ruben Cotter are their starting props.
Yep.
Pat Carrigan at 13, Nanai and Sua are the two back rowers.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. Jaden Sewer. So that would otherwise have been Fafita.
Or maybe in jersey 12 with Nanai off the bench. Or so, I don't know. But if I might as well say Futuaika, Hopgood, Cobbo are all on the bench, then Kafusi, Piakura, and Ezra Mam as the 20th man. If you lined up everyone in the NRL and said, who's one guy you don't want playing in the team opposite you, I would point at David Fafita first.
Yeah, yeah.
How is he not in this side?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a form thing.
It mustn't be.
Is it like you were coming off the bench for your team, so how do you expect to be starting in our team?
But he was coming off the bench to come back from injury, and now he's back to full dominant excellence.
Is it something to do with the backflip?
Maybe he's a huge prick.
Is he actually an arsehole?
Maybe that's it.
I don't know.
Well, and you and I are doing some advanced research on this because we're going to Bali this weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're going to find the nightclub where he had a ruckus with a dude 4 years ago, and we'll just ask them whether or not he's a prick.
Fafita?
Yeah.
I don't remember the Fafita Fracas. Oh, was he there with Nelson Asafa Solomon
Yeah.
and them? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, sweet.
That was when he was playing at the Broncos still.
How many dudes did Big Nas manage to dispatch? It was quite a few.
I don't know, but whatever it was, I'm going to try and one-up it.
Yeah, I was going to see if you could. I like this. It continues the long-held rugby league strategy of playing dudes out of position. Ben Hunt, always a 9 there, but for some reason, I guess it's because for the Dragons, you don't have good halves.
No, and halves are so hard to come by, and I think they've got like Little. Is it Little they've got at hooker or whatever?
Yeah. And one of the 15 Molos that they've got in their team's probably playing the other one.
That's right. But you say they're playing out of position.
Well, not out of position, but, you know.
But for Origin, one thing that used to be a bit of a head scratcher for the Blues was like, how do we fit all these fullbacks we've got, and how do we get Pappenhausen, Gutherson, Turbo, blah, 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 blah. So our backline was just like 5 fullbacks.
Which is basically what the Maroons have got this time around.
But the good thing about the Maroons is they've got a solid backline who have played pretty much together last year as well. They've got Reece Walsh, who's a fullback, Coates is a winger, he's on the wing. Taulangi's a winger, he's on the wing. Holmes is a centre, he is playing centre. The only one out of position is the Hammer. And so...
I still think Holmes is a fullback, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, he's a fucking brilliant fullback.
He's just a baller.
And that's where, just moving to the Blues side now, I am quite pleased to see players named in the positions that they play all season.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, you got Dylan Edwards making his debut at fullback.
Yeah.
I think that's excellent.
Had to. He wrestled that jersey off Teddy, and that's the big headline that all the Aussie papers are going with, is for some reason they fucking love Tedesco. I don't understand why. Dylan Edwards has been better than James Tedesco in the calendar year 2024.
But that's the good thing is that Tedesco didn't lose the jersey. Dylan Edwards stole it off him by being amazing.
Yeah.
So he's awesome. To'o on one wing, Zach Lomax on the other.
Yeah.
Nah.
I saw a meme, and it was...
Fuck that.
It was...
I fucking hate Zach Lomax.
It was a video of Madge when he was coaching the Tigers, and he goes, oh, fuck me. And the caption was, Madge 2 minutes into the game watching Lomax throw a flick pass.
No, I don't. Like, surely, out of all the... Like, Zach's had a great year for the Dragons. He's also a bit of a prick. You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because Suoli'i and Crichton, you couldn't have put Joey Suoli'i on the wing, and then spoiler alert, Matt Burton's the 18th man.
Matt Burton, who played a lot of centre at Penrith and would be a nice little utility cover, absolutely that is what I would have done, personally. But the halves are Nico Hines, who's probably not even going to play because he's injured, and Jerome Luai. How do you feel about Luai? As a person?
Never met him. Does seem to carry on a bit.
Yeah. So
if I didn't know him as a rugby league player and all I saw was his wedding speech at Brian To'o's wedding, I'd be like, don't know if I want him in my locker room.
To be honest, do you know who I would have chosen at 5'8"?
Who?
Cody Walker.
Yeah.
Like, I know. I think he's got a calf niggle because he was supposed to play for the Rabbitohs, but he didn't. But he's the incumbent 5'8". He played excellent last season. He was the only one that could generate any attack last season. And to be honest, he's one of the only players playing well for the Rabbitohs at the moment.
Yeah. And I guess, but then would you pair him? Do you put Latrell? Because Latrell could fill that.
But I think Latrell said he didn't want to play.
Yeah, so did Jack Whiten. And the funny thing about that is, I don't know if Jack Whiten was in contention for that. And so today on this podcast, I'd like to rule myself out of New South Wales.
That's good, man. Concentrate on the ACC.
No. It's a great way to dictate the narrative and be like, hey, just so you guys know, don't come asking because I'm not available. It's like, hey, we weren't.
So Nico Hines is in the halves with Luai.
Yeah.
Luai's been in form lately or whatever, but don't like him.
Yeah.
I love Jake Trbojevic as the captain.
Yes. Can I, quick point on this. Are the Manly Sea Eagles deserving of having both Origin captains come from their team?
I think
if any team is the Penrith Panthers.
Daly Cherry Evans, you can't argue with Queensland.
No, you can't.
But Jake Trbojevic, like, do you remember I think it was last season, they didn't pick him in the first game?
Yeah.
And because he's not a barnstorming, like, fast back row or anything like that. He's just a solid grub who's in the middle, putting in work.
But I don't know, when you look back in the history books and you find out that in 2024 Manly had both Origin captains, and they're like, shit, did they win the comp?
No. Well, who would you pick as captain?
They didn't.
You've got Payne Haas as the other prop, Reece Robson starting at hooker, Liam Martin, Angus Crichton, and big fan Cam McInnes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Cleary's in there, I think you pick him, but you're right. I don't know.
I think maybe Isaiah Yeo would have been captain if he was starting at 13. but he's at 14.
But he's at 14, and that's again Cameron McInnes has taken that off him.
The thing I love about this is Madge trying to do what the Queenslanders do, which is just circle dudes who are massive workhorse, hard-working dudes like Jake Trebojevic, Cam McInnes, Liam Martin, and just going, these are the guys that we need. Interesting, the bench, Yo is in 14, so no cover at all for hooker. So if Robson goes down, I don't know what they're going to do. They've got Haumole.
Cam McInnes.
Oh, yeah, true. Haumole Olakwatu. He hasn't played hooker in so long, though. But, yeah, he can.
I don't know if Haumole's ever played hooker.
No. You're a hooker. So he's coming off the bench, which is excellent because imagine Olakwatu after like 30 minutes of Origin, you're defending, and then he comes off the bench. You'd be fucked off.
Like that.
Spencer Leniu, who's had a pretty short season. He's named in 16. And then Hudson Young, who's a try-scoring machine. Then Matt Burton's 18th man. Carey is in jersey 19. Wouldn't be surprised to see him come in if Hines is out. Mm-hmm. Or is he a 5'8"? No, he is a 5'8".
Carey is, yeah.
Walker's a half. And so who would play half? Would it be Matt Burton? See, this is so confusing.
They're in all sorts. I mean, Isaiah Yo is probably going to be the half. And then at 20, you go Mitch Barnett. Now, I don't know, Mitch would never think this way, but I'm looking at that team. What the fuck has Spencer Leniu done this year that would warrant him being a starter over Mitch Barnett?
Has he played 2 games?
Maybe.
3 games?
Did they know that the other team was going to pick Ezra Mam? Is that why he's in the team?
Yeah, that is interesting.
For a bit of spice. I don't know. Second question, and this makes me almost just as angry. How is Hudson Young not English? That is the most English. Hudson Young. He's come straight out of the fucking Super League. But he hasn't. Somehow.
And because he's a Raider too, you assume he's English?
I know. It blows my mind that Hudson Young is not English and then Herbie Farnworth is.
There's a few things to get really fucked off about there. You're right.
One is that Mitch Barnett doesn't get a starting spot, and the other is that Hudson Young is just lying to all of us, right to our faces.
So, in terms of changes you might make to this side, what I love McInnes. He's staying there. Yeah. I love Crichton. I'm so glad he's been picked again after tripping out in Amsterdam, whatever the hell he was doing. Like Payne Haas, that is a good looking side. The only thing I would do is have, and I guess you're right, Cam McInnes is that hooker cover. It would have been cool if Egan stayed healthy to have a little Wade Egan in jersey 14. You know?
Would have been great. I think even if he was healthy, just looking at the way they've gone with this team, I don't think he would have made it. Because Reece Robson, basically, that's all they've been talking about for the Blues.
Well, he's another Origin type player, isn't it? He's just like a hearty tackling machine.
He's got a face that looks like it's been stung by bees.
Which is a huge prerequisite.
Which you need in the Origin arena.
You need that in Origin.
If you don't have one guy in your team that looks like he's been stung by bees, which, by the way, Liam Martin probably fits into that category as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at the
Maroons, not a lot of bee stings. Ruben Cotter to a degree.
Ruben Cotter looks more like he's eaten a peanut, but he's allergic.
Yeah, but not like real allergic.
Nah, just like... Yeah.
He doesn't need to go to the... don't call an ambulance.
No, just find his EpiPen.
Could you fucking not bring nuts to the picnic next time? That's probably about how... And then Lindsay Collins looks like he was reanimated by Dr. Frankenstein.
That's right. So,
I don't know. I think just based off the who's been stung by bees meter, it's the Blues for me. If you had to pick this and putting your biases aside... how do you if
Queensland,
if these teams stay the same for all 3 games,
Queensland.
You think Queensland?
I think Queensland purely because it's pretty much very similar to last year's team. Mm-hmm. It's still full of just such experience with Daly, Cherry Evans, Valentine Holmes as well. And I can Reece Walsh, I hate his guts, and I forgot that he played for the Warriors, but shit, he steps up in these arenas. He loves it. I also love that they've got guys like Jermaine Hopgood on the bench.
Yeah, the Hop God deserved that. I'm so glad to see him get rewarded.
Yeah, he's a beast. Harry Grant coming off the bench is frightening, and they also don't have Zach Lomax. So I'm going to go with Queensland, but I am a New South Wales supporter.
If you'd never watched rugby league before, and I told you that Jermaine Hopgood was either a SoundCloud rapper or a rugby league player, which would you think?
Yeah.
If he had like one banger that was on Spotify,
and I don't want to discriminate or whatever, but like if you said the name Jermaine Hopgood, now picture what he looks like.
Yeah. By the way, here's how it's spelled: J apostrophe.
Yeah, Jermaine.
Yeah.
Hop so good. So good anyway.
All mind a Hopgood. So you're saying
Queensland. What do you
Queensland?
reckon?
Yeah, I think Queensland as well. Not only do I think Queensland, I think Blues are going to probably lose this first game and then make 5 changes to that team.
Yeah, just freak out.
You know what I mean? Like you say, I think that Maroons team is about what it's going to be.
Do you know what the first change is going to be? Teddy in at fullback.
I reckon that'll be the second change. First change?
Zach Lomax.
Mitch Barnett. Get him on there.
Mitch Barnett at wing. Zach Lomax dropped. Captaincy to Mitch Barnett too because he's undefeated.
Or potentially Nico Hines is still injured.
Yeah, that's going to be the very first change. Just for anyone listening, if you've got any advice as to a good place to watch rugby league, on the Wednesday, myself and Manaia will be in Bali. I think we're in Canggu. Or are we in Uluwatu? I can't remember.
When's the first game? Oh, you know
Wednesday.
what? They're close enough. So, yeah, if you know anywhere in Canggu or Uluwatu.
Yeah, it's like a cool bar to go and I assume there will be then because there'll be Aussie bogans.
I'll stretch to Ubud.
Ubud?
I will stretch to Ubud, yeah. Don't send me back to Denpasar. Is that just an airport or a town?
I have no idea. I don't
Neither
know. I don't know shit about Bali. I've done zero research. But if you've got any suggestions, get in touch on the old. How do we get in touch here?
I reckon DM us personally because there's no way the ACC is actually going to afford that recommendation.
Okay, so at Chris Key NZ, DM us, and at Manakaz NZ.
Yeah, no, I don't have the NZ.
Well, how do people going to know where you live though?
That's a good point.
At Manakaz Ubud.
Yeah. All right, just before we take another quick break, the 4 and 20 4-pack prize pack. Each month, the Mad Monday team are giving away 4 tickets to the next home game and 4 and 20 pie vouchers. And I'm led to believe, Chris, as well, socks, I think, are part of this too.
4 and 20 socks.
4 and 20 socks, yeah. All you have to do is text the monthly keyword to 3236. Listen to podcast EPS to find out the keyword. And this month it is still eat because somebody in the Mad Monday Munters group sent us a photo. It was Ben. And he said, don't know who to thank, but thanks for the tickets. We even got the socks, and pretty sure they got the boys over the line. They sent us a photo of them.
Oh, how good.
All wearing
4 and 20 socks.
wearing 4 and 20 socks at the game.
Oh, how good is that?
So if you want to be the talisman that gets the Warriors over the line, all thanks to the 4 and 20 socks, text 8 to 3236. Quick break. We'll be right back. Now, we weren't able to talk to you last week, Chris, but last week you did go to Magic Round. Before we get your thoughts on Magic Round, did you listen to the
Thursday's one?
Yeah, the Pants Man's explanation.
I didn't listen to his explanation, but I was with the Pants Man for a large chunk of the weekend, and every time I met up with him again, because he was staying with his mates,
yeah,
I was like, how'd you get on? He's like, oh, bro, I had a shocker. And then proceeded to explain just the most ridiculous experience.
Yes.
3 straight days. He briefly gave us a rundown on the big show last week as well.
Yeah.
I will definitely have to listen to that episode.
Yeah, go and listen to it. It involves bikies. It involves urinals.
Buying the tickets.
Getting scammed.
Yeah,
taking a hit up on Caxton Street.
Ruben Wiki.
Ruben Wiki's in there.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, so if you're like Chris and you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to that.
There's Thursday's ep,
Yeah, it's a hell of a yarn. But anyway, how did you find it over there?
It was the single greatest sporting event I've been to.
Yeah.
In terms of, like...
Better than Billy Joel?
Look, and we were just discussing this before we started the podcast. Billy Joel is still my favourite all-time concert.
Yeah.
He was excellent, all right? And I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
Queens of the Stone Age was second to Billy Joel.
It was the way when I asked you how was Queens of the Stone Age, you were like, it was right up there with Billy Joel. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was. It was, that's the ultimate compliment.
Better than Lego.
So the best moment in sports I've ever witnessed is the 2015 semi-final of the Cricket World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Harry Jav. So that was excellent. I was in the stand. Fucking awesome. The next best one is now that Warriors win at Magic Round because it's the entire weekend. And if you're a rugby league, if you're even vaguely a rugby league fan, you've got a group of mates who are sort of into rugby league, go to this weekend and don't even buy 3 nights worth of tickets. Just buy the ticket for whatever day the Wars are on. Hopefully it's like the Saturday or the Friday and you can watch 3 games. The Saturday or the Sunday, you can watch 3 games. The other 2 nights, the Friday, the Saturday, whatever it might be, go to Caxton Street, have Gordon Tallis pouring you beers. Everyone you walk past in a Wars jersey will strike up a conversation. There is no aggression. Delicious, like meter-long hot dogs in the Caxton car park. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was just like the whole week I was just like buzzing. Everyone was smiling. Because I just wore a Warriors jersey all 3 days. Everywhere you went, everyone was up the Wars.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. They call it the Bogan Olympics, and I think it's a fitting title. I need to get over there next year.
We need to get over there next year. Why the hell has Jason Hoyt been sent there?
Agreed.
Mike Minogue I get because he's probably a bigger Warriors fan than I am.
Right.
But if we went there with Hurls and Di Henwood and the Pants Man, the whole crew, we would have an all-time weekend, and we need to tee that up.
Yes, we need to. We need to start the wheels rolling now. What we'll do is forget about it until the week before next
And then
year.
go, oh, that would have been nice.
Fuck, that's right.
Yeah, that would have been cool as.
Damn, we should have done something. What was the pits and peaks? What was the highlight of your weekend?
Highlight was definitely the Waz win, and then we had the fellas that organised the whole thing for us boys trip. The guy was with us, and Mike was getting quite drunk in the second half of the game, despite the fact we were catching a flight straight away. And then just looked at him and was just like, I'm not going home. And Dave was just like, oh. He's like, nah, I'm going to ring Todd right now, who's our boss at Hodaki, and tell him to change the flight. So he rang Todd. 2 minutes later, came back and was like, nah, Todd said sweet. And then he told Dave, and Dave was just like, oh, I guess I'll ring up and change your flights. He's just like, yeah, man, thank you.
For the amount it cost them to change your flights, they could have flown me, Di, and Ben over.
$4,800. That is such a good point.
Sickening.
You guys could have had accommodation for the weekend. And
I think, but the only issue I have with that is the oversight of not thinking, planning to fly home on Sunday. That's ridiculous.
we didn't even realise that the flights home weren't till Sunday until a week before leaving. We assumed it was Monday morning because our show doesn't start till 4 in the afternoon. There's plenty of time.
Also, fuck the show. Take leave.
Exactly. But like the funny thing was,
No one listens to it anyway.
yeah, that's true. The funny thing, well, fuck you. The funny thing was, no one factored in, because of who we were playing, the possibility of a win.
Yeah, exactly.
And so because of that, we're like, well, watch the Warriors get beaten by Penrith, and then we'll just jump in the shuttle, head to the airport.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, what? That's not happening? Oh, okay. And so we didn't really kick up too much of a fuss because we were like, oh, they're going to lose, most likely. So when that didn't happen, all hell just broke loose.
Yeah, send it into overdrive. What was the pit? What was the worst part of your weekend?
The pit was definitely like 3 a.m. on the Monday morning. I woke up. We gave away the prize to two great prize winners, Connor and Cooper, and I basically had to beg them to let me sleep on their couch of this hotel room. And then it turns out Cooper had his missus there as well, so she had been at like a yoga retreat for the weekend. Came out at 6 a.m. and it was just me on the couch in a Warriors jersey, and Pugson, he had ordered up a single bed from reception, and it was just, she came out the door, had never met us before in her life, and there's just like two sort of still steamed guys snoring, and I like had one eye open, I was like, hi, hello, and she's like, hi, and then just like walked out, went to the gym, and it was just like, so that's the pit, is that, and you're like, oh, now we've got to go to the airport, now we've got to
judge me.
Yeah. So after, and it was, to be honest, Friday night, Saturday night, we went pretty big, and I was like, Sunday, I'll just have a couple of beers watching the Wires and we'll fly home because I can't handle doing this again. And then we did it again.
Yeah.
And so the Monday was just a shell of a human. And to be honest, what's today? It's Monday now.
It's Monday now.
It's taken a week
It
for me
happened
to,
this morning.
It's taken a week for me to come right.
Yeah.
Which is a great sign.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would have been disappointed if it was any other way.
Same here, to be honest.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mike Minogue for force feeding me beers in the second half of that Warriors game, and then massively getting on me on board with this whole let's go big tonight.
And it's always great when it's someone else's idea,
Yeah, absolutely.
because you're never the story.
This is what I was telling Pugs about. So Pugs, our producer, was freaking out because he's like, if we have to pay for these flights, which was $4,800, he can't afford, and fair enough. And I'm like, I don't want to pay fucking $1,600 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mike Minogue's so steamed. He's just, I'll pay for it, fellas, whatever. And so it was a situation where he's on the phone to Todd getting us permission. Pugs is freaking out, and I'm just in the middle. I've got my hands clean here. What are we doing, fellas? And then the message comes through, yeah, we're staying. Okay, sweet, let's get steamed.
Yeah. And then if that ever comes back to you from the big boss, Todd, you're just like, sorry, Todd, I had no idea, man. If I'd have known, I would have come straight back.
Hey, for the record, I wanted to come home.
I wasn't drinking. I was ready. My bags were packed and with me at the
I'm
ground.
actually a Panthers fan.
I was
Exactly. But so that was the kind of the great thing is I had my hands were clean.
Yeah.
Everyone else was doing all the organising. Everyone else was in trouble, and I was sweet.
Yeah. And
So it was great.
and it's just your prize winners missus who had to fit the bill.
I felt really sorry for her. But
And
yeah.
and the company's credit card. No, it sounded like a great time. We need to start the wheels in motion earlier next year.
I would like if we don't get sent over there, which I mean we should because we've been commentating the Wires for 5 years now and doing potties and all sorts. 6 years. I would be massively open to just paying and going over and just
100%.
having a huge weekend.
I know, and that's the only reason I didn't this year was for that reason. I was like, surely,
yeah,
we go.
come on, man.
Surely we go. We take a couple of listeners. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. What let's knock this thing on the head then.
All right.
We'll be back on Thursday with another episode of the Mad Monday podcast once the team lists are out.
Although, will we?
Although,
the
will
Warriors aren't playing.
Warriors aren't playing. Look,
I'm in Dunedin.
We'll think about it. Oh, fuck, you're in Dunedin? Burn the place to the ground then.
We're going to Bali. Let's flag it. Let's
All right,
cancel the
let's flag
podcast.
it. We'll see you fucking whenever. See ya.
And Australia without rugby league is not Australia.